Ever wonder why so many vibrant folks seem to lose their spark after 80? It's not just aging, it's something deeper. Most assume it's all genetics or luck, but that's only half the story. I've seen it firsthand. My sharp uncle, full of life at 75, started fading by 82. It broke my heart, but it opened my eyes. In this video, we'll uncover 5 surprising reasons these hidden factors slip under the radar, even for those who've done everything right. Better yet, once you know them, you can act now to age with strength and spirit. Stick with me to discover how to rewrite your 80s and beyond, because it's never too late to thrive. 1. Loss of microsocial engagement. Number 1. Loss of microsocial engagement. One of the first and most overlooked reasons many older people don't live long after 80 is the quiet disappearance of what experts call microsocial engagement. These are not your deep friendships or family gatherings. Those still matter, of course, but rather the small, seemingly insignificant interactions that used to fill your everyday life without you even noticing. Think about how often you used to say hello to the mailman, share a quick joke with the cashier at the grocery store, or nod to the neighbor walking their dog across the street. Those tiny moments of contact weren't just pleasant, they were regulating your nervous system, forcing your sense of belonging and keeping your brain's social wiring sharp and engaged. But after 80, many older adults stop going to the store themselves. They order things online or ask family to help. They stop chatting with strangers because their hearing isn't what it used to be. Or they stop walking outside simply because the weather's a little too cold or their knees don't feel steady. And when those small social touch points start fading away, so does something else: vitality. What's interesting is that most people don't even realize it's happening. They think they're just simplifying life. But what they're actually doing is removing the lower social interactions that stimulate brain function, elevate mood, and signal to the body that they are still part of the living, breathing, everyday world. It doesn't have to be complicated. I've known men in their 80s who stayed sharp simply because they walked to the same coffee shop each morning, said hello to the same staff, and nodded to the same 3 people on the corner. That 5-minute stretch of human connection wasn't just routine, it was lifeblood. It gave their day shape. It kept them accountable, it made them feel seen, and there's a biological cost when this disappears. The brain responds to loneliness, both the deep kind and the subtle kind, as a stressor. It changes hormone levels, raises inflammation, and weakens immunity. But most importantly, it begins to shrink the networks in the brain that are responsible for memory, attention, and emotional regulation. In plain terms, it makes you feel older faster. So if you found yourself not talking as much to people during the day, or if you've simply stopped going out for small errands, stopped initiating casual conversation, or started feeling invisible in your community, it's time to reverse that. Because those moments of connection, even the ones that seem forgettable, are quietly telling your brain and your body you still matter. You're still part of something, and that message is one of the most powerful medicines for staying alive, not just in years but in spirit. 2. Overcautious inactivity. You've always prided yourself on being careful, right? But after 80, that caution can sneak up on you, turning from wisdom into a silent thief. It starts with good intentions. Maybe you slipped on the stairs once, or felt a wobble on the sidewalk, so you decide to skip that evening walk. You stop bending for low shelves, climbing into the back seat of the car. You sit more, stay seated longer. Friends and family cheer you on, saying, "Don't push it, take it easy." Before you know it, your life feels safe but frozen. Here's the truth no one shouts from the rooftops. When you stop moving, your strength doesn't just pause, it fades. Not only in your legs or arms, but in your balance, your coordination, the deep core muscles that hold you steady. Your body isn't a machine that stays shiny when it rests. It's a garden that wilts without care. Let movement slow to a trickle, and everything weakens. Those core muscles, they're the unsung heroes behind standing, walking, even rising from a chair. Core them for just a few weeks and they shrink. Your balance wobbles and the downward spiral kicks in. I knew a man named Walter, 82, no broken bones, just a scare. But that fear was enough. He traded walks for TV nights, and within 6 months, he'd lost 10 pounds of muscle. His legs turned to jelly, his confidence crumbled. His doctor sounded the alarm, but the damage was done. Walter didn't stop because he was weak. He became weak because he stopped. Now don't get me wrong, risks deserve respect. Use handrails, wear sturdy shoes, clear your walkways. Grab a cane if it helps. But there's a razor-thin line between managing risk and surrendering to it. When fear calls the shots, your body forgets how to move. If you're doing less, not because you can, but because you're afraid, pause and reflect. Am I protecting myself, or am I slowly vanishing? Staying vibrant past 80, even just about avoiding falls, it's about moving, even if it's slower, more deliberate, more careful. Movement tells your body it's still needed, keeps your brain sharp, and fuels your heart's purpose. So if this hits home, drop number 2 in the comments to let me know you're with me. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and that bell icon. Your support fuels more content to keep you inspired. Let's keep moving forward together. 3. Disrupted sleep cycles. From irregular light exposure, there's a hidden clock inside you, ticking silently, steering your mood, energy, and even how your brain heals at night. After 80, this clock, your circadian rhythm, gets fragile, and one sneaky disruptor can throw it off. Too little daylight, too much artificial light at night. You might not notice it creeping in. Maybe you're napping more in the afternoon sun, or skipping outdoor time when it's chilly. Perhaps you're glued to the TV or under bright lights late into the evening. These habits seem harmless, but they're quietly scrambling your body's sense of when to wake and when to rest. And light is your rhythm's anchor. Morning sunlight signals your brain to fire up, sending energy where it's needed. Darkness cues melatonin, the hormone that ushers in deep, restorative sleep. But miss that daytime light or bathe in screens and lamps at night, and your signals go haywire. You toss and turn, wake up groggy despite 8 hours in bed, or feel your memory fuzzier than it should be. Over time, this isn't just about feeling off. It weakens your immune system, dims your mood, and even raises the risk of cognitive decline. Then there's vitamin D, made when sunlight hits your skin. After 80, your body's less efficient at this, making outdoor time non-endurable. Without it, your bones, muscles, and immunity suffer. I met Helen, 84, who felt drained and disoriented despite perfect blood work and an imperfects. Her doctor had her sit by an open window for 20 minutes every morning and ditch screens an hour before bed. 2 weeks later, her sleep, memory, and mood were sharper. No pills, just light. If you're stuck indoors with curtains drawn or burning the midnight oil with blue light, it's time to shift. Step outside within an hour of waking, even if it's just a few minutes on the porch, letting sunlight soak into your eyes and skin. At night, dim the lights, ease off screens, and let your body wind down. These aren't just comforts, they're lifelines. Aging isn't just wear and tear, it's systems falling out of sync. Claim your rhythm with light and sleep, and you're telling your body at 85, we're still sharp, still moving, still here. If this resonates, drop number 3 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe and the bell. Your support keeps us creating content to spark your vitality. Let's keep going. 4. Emotional suppression from loss and isolation. Number 4, emotional suppression from loss and isolation. By the time many people reach their 80s, they've carried more loss than most younger folks can imagine. A spouse, a sibling, a lifelong friend, sometimes even a child. And while the outside world may politely offer sympathy, what's rarely acknowledged is just how much those losses accumulate, not just in memory, but in the body. What often happens after 80 it's emotional suppression. It's the slow, quiet habit of swallowing the pain instead of expressing it, of putting on a brave face because you feel like you should be used to it by now, or because there's no one left who really understands the depth of what you've lost. But here's the truth. The body doesn't forget. When grief isn't processed, when it's not shared, not felt fully, it doesn't just disappear, it gets stored. And over time, that emotional weight becomes physical. It starts to affect your immune system, your digestion, your sleep. It changes your hormones. It puts your nervous system in a constant state of quiet tension. And the hardest part, it happens silently. On the outside, you might look calm. You might even say you're fine. But if your shoulders have grown a little heavier, if your breathing is a bit shallower, if your spark has dimmed just enough that you no longer feel like yourself, grief might be the reason, even if you haven't called about it in years. I remember a man named George, 86, who lost his wife of 60 years. He didn't cry much, said it wasn't his way, said he was doing all right, but within a year he'd lost weight, stopped going to the senior center, and began having trouble sleeping. Not because of illness, but because his body was carrying sorrow it had never been allowed to release. You see, emotional pain doesn't need to be dramatic to be damaging. And by the time it shows up in your health, the connection isn't always obvious. What keeps people alive well past 80 often isn't just physical strength. It's emotional ventilation. It's having safe, open outlets for sadness, for fear, for longing. It's being able to say, I miss her, or I'm still angry, or I feel alone, and not being judged for it. That kind of release is what lets the heart breathe again. And when the heart can breathe, the body can heal. That's why people who live long tend to have some kind of outlet. Maybe it's a trusted friend. Maybe it's a journal. Maybe it's faith or a community group, or even a therapist who helps them unpack the stories they've carried for decades. Whatever the form, the principle is the same. What gets expressed can be transformed. What gets buried first, not just for the sake of your emotions, but for your life. Because the truth is, the heart can only carry so much before it starts to quietly shut down. And if you want to make it well past 80, not just breathing but alive, you have to let it feel too. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. 5. Gradual loss of daily purpose. There's a quiet force that keeps you going each morning. Something so subtle you barely notice it until it's gone. Daily purpose. Not the grand, world-changing kind, but the small, grounding routines that give your days meaning. After 80, these can slip away, and with them, a piece of your vitality. Picture watering your roses before the sun climbs high, feeding the stray cat by your doorstep, writing a note to your granddaughter, or fixing that creaky gate hinge. These aren't just torment, they're the heartbeat of your day. When they fade, mornings blur into evenings with nothing to anchor you, and something inside starts to dim. Your body takes cues from your mind. When there's no reason to rise, appetite wanes, movement slows, and your health systems quiet down. Not broken, but waiting for a spark. It sneaks up slowly. Maybe your bridge club fizzled out, or your church group stopped. Perhaps family visits dwindled, or aching knees ended your volunteer gig. You shrug it off as just aging, but deep down you feel it. Days blending, each quieter than the last. Then there's Ruth, 88, who radiated life despite no wealth, perfect health, or big family. Her secret? Every Monday, she corned postcards to shut-ins at her church. Thursdays, she cooked soup for a local shelter. Daily at 4 p.m., she sat by her window, waving to school kids who knew her name and waved back. These weren't grand gestures. They were her rhythm, her texture, her reason to be. Here's the secret. Your body thrives when it feels needed. Even tiny purposes, tending a plant, calling a friend, saying a morning prayer, tell your cells to keep repairing, your brain to stay sharp, your heart to keep pumping. Lose that sense of mattering, and the flame flickers. Those who shine past 80 have anchors, a pet, a journal, a ritual. It's not about scale, it's about consistency. Knowing each dawn brings a reason to move. If your days feel adrift, that's not just sadness, it's your body craving structure. Find one small purpose, for others or just yourself, and start today. Longevity isn't just a beating heart, it's a heart that wants to beat, connected, alive. Drop number 5 in the comments if this hits home. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe and the bell. Your support fuels content to keep you thriving. Let's keep going. 6. Loss of mental stretch. The silent shrinking of the mind. Your mind is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs stretching to stay strong. After 80, many older adults unknowingly let their brains slip into autopilot, coasting through days that blend into one another. It's not just age or disease that dims the mind. It's the quiet absence of mental challenges. Routines become too predictable. No more quick math to split a bill. No writing letters. No learning something fresh. Days repeat without a spark to ponder deeply or remember vividly. This isn't just simplifying life. It's starving your brain. Like your legs weaken without walking, your mind shrinks without stretching. Memory softens. Reflexes slow. Words slip. Not always from illness, but from disuse. The science is clear. An idle brain loses its sharpness just as an unused body loses strength. But here's the good news. Small habits can rekindle that spark. Solving a crossword each morning, planning your grocery list with care, or writing a heartfelt note by hand, these aren't just titties, babe. They're brain workouts. Even learning a gentle new skill like sketching, singing, or swiping through a tablet app can wake your mind up. Take Frank, 87, a retired engineer who once thrived on problem solving. After retirement, he stopped reading or puzzling, urged by family to rest. Soon he was forgetting names, repeating stories, and showed him how to blog. Frank started jotting down memories of his youth and capturing puzzles nightly. Within months, his mind felt clearer, his emotions brighter. He was back. The lesson? You don't stop thinking because you're old. You grow old because you stop thinking. So pick one small mental stretch today. A puzzle, a journal entry, a new skill. Keep your brain flexing and it'll carry you vibrant and sharp, well past 80. If this strikes a chord, drop number 6 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe and the bell. Your support fuels content to keep your mind thriving. Let's keep stretching forward. As we wrap up, let's hold on to a simple, powerful truth. Fading after 80 isn't a single moment, a diagnosis, a fall, or a birthday. It's the slow, quiet drift of habits, rhythms, and reasons to stay connected that dims your spark. These shifts are so subtle you might not notice until something inside feels less alive. But here's the hope. Just as they fade gradually, you can reclaim them. One step outside, one chat with a cashier, one morning stretch, one small act today, not out of duty but because it weaves meaning, connection, or joy. That's how you turn the tide. Reflect on the 6 unexpected reasons we explored. Which one caught you off guard? Which hit close to home? Most importantly, which will you act on, even in a tiny way? Starting now. You have more power than you realize, not to halt aging, but to shape how you age. Stay awake to these quiet shifts. Guard your rhythms, nurture your purpose, and let yourself feel what needs feeling. Do this, and you won't just reach 80. You'll live beyond it. Thank you for being here today. Drop a comment below with one insight that struck you and how you'll use it. Your thoughts inspire us as much as we hope to inspire you. If this resonated, give it a like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe with the bell on so we can keep bringing you ideas to thrive. Here's to living vibrantly. See you in the next video.